The SCP community is one thing, but the SCP gaming community is a different beast. While the wiki thrives, the gamers have not had a full meal for a long time. Since the success of Containment Breach, many people have tried their hand at their own SCP games, but what we got wasn't peak. And today, I'd like to explore the gaming side of the Foundation and try to convince you that the title of this video is not clickbait. Bear with me. It's been some time since we've had an iconic SCP game. Some have gotten attention, sure, but they don't have the impact of the classic Containment Breach. Secret Laboratory, despite its popularity, sucks. It's moved away from the casual fun experience towards something unrecognizable to longtime players. Secret Files, despite its praise, is relatively short and doesn't leave much for fans once it's complete. Also, it's been 2 years and nobody has said its name, which is fine. It wasn't really built for longevity, but I'm just saying. And we're still waiting on Fragmented Minds. Could you guys hurry up? These games all have their fans, but nothing has quite captured the popularity of SCP Containment Breach, which really brought together so many crucial things. It was not only enjoyed by the SCP community, but brought more attention to those outside of it. It popularized Weeping Angel mechanics, and it was the first game to really explore the Foundation universe. It's so iconic that half of all modern SCP games just rip it off and get away with it. The lack of variety for SCP games is not a new topic on this channel. I briefly mentioned it in my video about SCP strategy, and now I want to look at several games and explain how I feel about them, why I don't think they offer anything new, and how this relates to my video title. And I'll be trying to pick games that have some substance or intrigue, as funny as it is to look at this. Let's start with another game I played on this channel, Nine-Tailed Fox. In it, you play as an MTF member exploring the site of Containment Breach. Right away, this game is just Containment Breach. It is a mod, after all. You explore the facility with your team of MTFs until getting attacked by Larry, and then you're given a crowbar. It's here that you just play Containment Breach all over again, and that's kind of it. A lot of this game is just Containment Breach, code and assets and everything, because, you know, it's a mod, it's to be expected. But here's the thing, if you're gonna make a mod where you play as a different character, maybe the experience should be about that character. Maybe you should actually do something with the concept you present. You're an MTF, and you're instantly placed in the exact same position as a D-Class was in the original game. You may as well skip to the part where you're down in the facility because the intro only serves to be an annoying reintroduction to a location that nobody has bothered to leave for over a decade. You had a great and marketable idea, what if you were in a breach as an MTF, but for whatever reason it's immediately canned. Now hang on, the single player mode is not the only thing this game has to offer, and thank God. The multiplayer is actually extremely fun, and it's not without bugs, but the deathmatch is funny and the waves mode has a lot of potential. I actually played this game pretty far back, and I know they've added a few things to that, and I've been tempted to go and try it, but there's still the problem of the single player aspect. The thing is, with a good multiplayer, why do we need an experience that is just Containment Breach again? Let me get to the main question I'm asking. Is there any good reason to have this single player mode? Some may say it just makes Containment Breach updated, and it's easier to play in a modern setting, and it offers better options and even Steam achievements. And if you think that, fine. I can understand why that may seem like a good thing. But what I see is, I don't think the boss spawned.
Oh my god, so if we want to kill them, we'd have to do it all over again?
Yeah.
You got no clip through that door.
Well, a buggy game. And an idea that's been done over and over again, being done again, which would naturally force the actual fresh ideas to get less attention. All I'm saying is, if someone wants to play Containment Breach, they can do it in multiple ways, notably through the original, which is still there and still works. You just don't need this game for that single player mode. I really hope that more effort can be put into the single player to make it really unique. SCP Observer. Sorry, this one might be punching down a little bit. It's Five Nights at Freddy's, but Containment Breach. This blends the two games with the most copied formulas ever, and it's honestly better executed in a different game, but I'll talk about that later. It's a FNAF roamer, so it's 3D and you have to move to manage things, but that is a major detriment here. In good FNAF roamers like the glitched attraction, for example, it offers new settings regularly, but here it's a pretty bland room that looks like Containment Breach, and it feels like it's locked itself to this style, so it can't actually do anything new with it. If you were gonna make a FNAF roamer that's an SCP game, I would rather see different SCPs in a unique setting at the very least. 3D roamers are a newer style of FNAF game too, and at least they always tried to seem more advanced than regular FNAF, so I guess it just feels wrong to see the super outdated setting and the same old anomalies. That's kind of how I feel about other modern SCP games too, whenever they revisit Containment Breach. When you don't add anything new on top of the old setting, especially when it's this outdated, it just becomes old really quick. The concept is honestly fine, but I just don't think it's executed on in a way that piques my interest. You watch cameras to stop things from moving towards you, you manage power, it's stuff we've seen before. Don't get me wrong, I like SCP games, but I'm not this hungry. This is just FNAF mechanics in Containment Breach. It's not not worth it. I get why it has good reviews, it does exactly what it sets out to do, but I don't think your FNAF clone needed to be locked to a classic rendition of SCP Containment Breach in order to work. As I mentioned, there's another game that actually does this better, SCP Endurance, and honestly it's because it barely feels connected to Containment Breach in its style. It does use all the same anomalies, but it keeps the point-and-click nature of old FNAF games, and I think that's actually fun. Also, Peak 173 design.
Really quick, let's take a look at how to do a Containment Breach style game the right way. Secret Laboratory. Yeah, you thought just because I mentioned it at the start and then moved on to talking about other things, it wasn't going to come up again, but no. Here it is. I'm finally talking about Secret Lab in a way that isn't just complaining about burnout.
Secret Lab had a lot of potential when it wasn't money hungry and focused on being competitive. The devs don't know how to make a game, and that used to be a great thing. Despite all my complaints about Containment Breach revisits, this one actually worked well because it had to rework everything for a multiplayer setting. 173 was sorta uncontrollable, and that made it challenging to be an unstoppable killing machine. 939 was actually blind and you could speak to other players, and it was really goofy to move around. 106 was inescapable and you could just taunt people. 049 was also mostly fun because you could talk to people. Do you notice a pattern here? These anomalies are only fun when they can have entertaining interactions with other players, and voice chat allowed for that for most of them. This is something that's merely mimicked by 939.
Oh, brother!
Anytime she steals another player's voice, it's awesome, but like I said, we used to be able to talk to people. People have said this before, and these aren't my words, but this game is really just a chat room where you can kill people if you want. When you take away the chat, when you start focusing on combat, when you limit what people can do, your game gets repetitive a lot faster. This game used to be a successful return to Containment Breach, specifically because it wasn't so focused on being a serious SCP game. It took the setting and it added something genuinely fun on top, but when it got popular, it went downhill. It still successfully uses Containment Breach recognition now, but don't take that as praise for the current state of the game.
These next two games are instances where I think a developer made them with the idea that just making Containment Breach again would get them popularity of some kind. The return to Containment Breach style gameplay is a basic concept to fall back on because they don't have any ideas of their own. In this one, there's not even much I can say about it. SCP escaped together. Imagine if Containment Breach was multiplayer. We don't have to imagine that. Except it was bad. Most of the reviews call it a Bitcoin miner with how poorly it runs, and overall it just is Containment Breach multiplayer, so it's a copy of a copy. Because we don't need more games that are just the same game again. There's literally nothing new I can say about it. At the end of the day, I feel like these games are just made with the purpose of returning to something popular for attention. Developers are fixated on Containment Breach because they're unoriginal and it's a very easy game to recreate. Ultimately, for some, it actually works. I think now we are finally starting to see some more diverse interest in SCP games, but many are still seemingly obsessed with copying what worked 12 years ago. And honestly, I could not be happier that we are about to move on from it. Seeing so many SCP games in the works has given me a little bit of hope, but looking back at these trash fires, just wow. Can we not do this anymore, please? Thank you for watching. It's been a while. This was going to be a very different video originally, but I'm actually making another one already based on like scraps that I didn't want to include, so look forward to that. See ya.